On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages. Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password. To WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
So good, so good, so good.
Ready to rack to school and save big? Get to your Nordstrom Rack store today for thousands of deals from just $20.
Because I want to look fresh.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
I got a new backpack.
Score everyone's favorite denim, sneakers, boots, and activewear from Nike, Levi's, Steve Madden, Madewell, and Free People. Great brands, great prices. Everyone's got a reason to rack. Shop Nordstrom Rack and make it the best school year ever.
This Friday, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back to switch things up in Disney's Freakier Friday.
Totally, yes.
It's an absolute riot.
Woo!
And the only movie that can be described as
So much weirder than the last time.
What last time?
it's the frequel
You ready?
we've been waiting for.
That absolutely slays.
What deeply out of touch old person came up with that?
You did.
Wow.
Don't miss the comedy event of the summer for all ages. Disney's Freakier Friday in theaters this Friday. Get tickets now. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
This series contains adult language and descriptions of graphic violence throughout. Listener discretion is advised.
Cavalry Audio.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to Carolyn's Lounge. Today, on Murder Chronicles bonus episodes.
Well, I'm glad you got everybody in the mood.
So for all of you listeners, first of all, thank you for joining us. My name is Branden. I produce the show, here as always, with Carolyn Osorio, who showed us a new side of herself in this episode. Hopefully you've listened to episode 23, Playing with Fire, and you'll understand my corny opening. But last week, she wasn't joking when she said, I want you to be surprised when you get the episode. And was I ever?
Mm-hmm.
Was I ever? Interesting choice. Interesting choice.
After the onslaught, which was, the Night Stalker,
Yeah.
I really wanted to pick a case that was consenting adults, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of like, it was a messed up situation that happened, and it sounds like a really great guy lost his life, but these were consenting adults. And I set up the intro, which I know you're going to make fun of me for, and I totally own, because I wanted people to know that this was going to be about swingers, but that this is a lifestyle choice. And I put myself in the position of this couple and what would be their motivating factors to decide, let's do this, right?
And I get into all of that. I've got some interesting questions, and honestly, I learned a lot in this episode that I also want to talk about. I found your interview subject very interesting and very well-spoken, and with a real kind of deep knowledge about this world. And then separately, I know some people who participate in a lifestyle like this in various levels of involvement. Okay. Which my wife and I,
you have a friend who goes to another school.
she's from Canada. She lives in Niagara Falls. You wouldn't know her. No. She goes to a different school, man. I mean, it's fine. She totally loves me.
Right.
No, we have a friend, a family friend, confirmed bachelor. He's got a lot of money and he's a good looking dude. And he's just into the lifestyle, and there's this very exclusive, like worldwide kind of sex club that's like Eyes Wide Shut type of shit. Right. And it's super expensive, but like you wear like fucking tuxedos and you go. And so, through this guy, a married couple friend of mine and my wife's, went with him. And now when I say there's various levels of involvement, you're able to go and not participate. Like you can go and be a voyeur. There's like windows where you could just sit there and watch and do stuff. All right. And the whole thing was fascinating. It was really, really fascinating. And then I have another.
You mean it was fascinating? It was fascinating because they came back and gave you and your wife a report?
No, it was fascinating. That's allowed, right? That you can just go and watch. I went, what are you talking about? Like, and I guess that there are people that are exhibitionists that like knowing that there's an audience, like watching them. Okay.
Right.
And there are certain types of signals or like articles of clothing that you wear that let you know, that let other people know that you're off limits, that you're not there to play, that you're there to watch. Like there's a whole like rule structure and society and all of that like kind of going on. All right. So that's one aspect of it. Then there's like a dirtier aspect, which I think you were talking about, where it's like online clubs, right? And like, I'll meet you at a cheap bar in Portland, right? And I'll watch you bang my wife, like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I think that it was a combination of like, I mean, this is a really small area where they're living that's really rural. And so I think that they were a part of the community in terms of like, think about it, it's 2008. It's like these, chats that they're having. And I think that there was also these events that they would go to. And so I think it was, it ran the gamut of, I mean, this guy lived 15 minutes away from their house.
Right.
So it was like, it hooked them up convenience wise, but then also they wanted to be a part of the larger community at, I'm assuming it took place in a hotel or something like that.
Right.
I don't know.
So that's the other branch of my, a little bit of knowledge with this, because there's the one, the rich version of it. Okay. Where like, where you fly in a private jet to San Francisco and it's in some opulent mansion. Right. And, and everyone's wearing tuxedos and like buttless chaps, like whatever. Okay. But then there's the version of it where it's like, hey, let's go meet at the Howard Johnson's, right? And get a room.
Stop. Don't even do that to these people.
And get a room because she says I have $20 to spend on parking and drinks. Right. So, I mean, I'm just painting the picture in my mind. Right. Either way, you're still getting your freak on and you're still scratching some itch that generally society might look at as a kink but for some people it's very normal. And to hear the woman that you were interviewing, she really normalized it. She's like, no, it's cool. And what I found fascinating were the three types of marriages, right? The three types of attachment: anxiously attached, securely attached, and ambivalently attached. Okay. And I realized I'm in a securely attached marriage, but my wife and I have no desire to bring in other sex partners. Okay. Yeah. Because then it might transfer into an anxiously attached marriage if that were presented to me, because I'm kind of a jealous guy. Right. So I found that super interesting. And it looked like this fucking guy, the murderer, didn't know that about himself until he saw that look in his wife's eyes. Right. And imagine that. And I can imagine him sitting there going, man, I remember when she looked at me like the first time we were having sex, and that, boom, that spun him out.
I mean, there's so much to unpack with this. And I mean, what got me more than anything was that video, that sex video. I could just see it in my head. That to me was like, I mean, not excusing anything that he did, but just like you see this guy, sorry sap, sitting there, and these other two are just so into each other. And like, how devastating would that be? And in that moment, you realize, what have I done? I opened this Pandora's box and now I got to sit with this. I mean, it's just so crunchy.
It's so weird. It reminded me of a time I was 18 or 19 living in Hollywood. There was this one bar that I would go to where they never carded me, right? Because all of my friends were older. And so I got by, and I would just get shit faced, this dumb kid, right? And this older woman approached me at the bar one night, like overtly, like making a pass at me, like hitting on me, right? And I'm wasted. I'm like, yeah, woo, jackpot, jackpot, going home, da, 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 right? And she's like, yeah, okay. And she was probably 30, okay, which for me was like, much older than me at the time. Mm-hmm. And then she says, hold on, I want you to meet my husband. And I went, excuse me? Like, am I about to get beat up? Because I can't fight and I'm hammered and I'm super skinny and I'm not strong and I'm drunk. And she goes, no. He just likes to watch me have fun. And I ripcorded. I went, boom, pulled the parachute. I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here because I'm going to end up in the LA River in a sack, right? And I'm not interested in any of that. So that's as close as I came to anything like this. But it was presented in such a casual way. Like, I was nervous that the husband was there and am I in trouble? And she says, no. Like, it's nothing. Like, she was saying, I have to go to the bank on the way home. She was like, no, he just likes to watch. He likes to watch me have fun, is like what she said.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why I wanted to speak with the Dr. Pepper, is that she really she takes away the kind of judgment and labels and what's normal, and just really, because have always been a student of human behavior. I mean, that's what drives me. I love to kind of like, this isn't something that I'd be interested in, but I still think it's fascinating to know about, I mean, I remember my husband, when I was actually putting this together a while ago, he just happened to be going out with his friends, and one of his friends said, oh, they're swingers. And he like went into this whole huge diatribe about this like red light that goes on in front of they replace the white light bulb and put the red one, and then the people know in the neighborhood or whatever. And he was more upset that he had never been invited to this. He was more like not, he totally tried to act like, he was kind of,
we're cool. Kind of, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And couldn't believe that he and his wife weren't invited to, the party. And so I feel like there's a lot of curiosity. And I just think that that's how I wanted to approach this episode. And, at the end of the day, it's a love triangle that went horribly wrong. The fact that there were all these other salacious details on top of it is where the victim got lost.
See, and as a student of human behavior, could you see it happening any other way? Like, isn't there just inherent fucking landmines?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But see, I couldn't be in that type of a thing. My husband and I are like your relationship attached. What is it? What did she call it again? What are your notes saying?
Anxiously attached, securely attached, or ambivalently attached.
Securely attached. But you can see how these things can go. We've talked about how there's different versions of ourselves. Like when we went right when we could have gone left. And if we would have gone left, who knows what would have happened, but we went right. And so we were lucky, right? And I feel like in this situation, it sounds like even on the surface, it doesn't sound appealing to me, just because it's like all of the stuff that goes with it, just how does that work? Like, how do you give your husband permission to do that, or him giving me permission to do that? It's just so, there's people's feelings and emotions and
just the scheduling alone would be a nightmare.
I know, right? Exactly.
Right. And the question is that I would have, like, to your point, like, who breaks that ice first?
What do you mean? Like the husband?
Like, who's the first one to say, like, hey, so what do you think about swinging? Is it like if it were a Seinfeld episode, it would be someone like, oh, no, imagine if we did this, right? Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
I think that I think it could go a million different directions, just depending on what kind of relationship you have. Like, if you're already kind of like, just like the eye contact, just like the, I just feel like there's so many ways it could go down.
Right. But she said,
and like we are bombarded in our lives on a daily basis where people try to pick up on you in different ways through nonverbal communication, and you choose whether or not you want to receive that information or just act like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's strange because she gave us the percentages with basically 1 out of 25 families, 1 out of 25 couples,
which is a lot.
I was at my daughter's spelling bee on Friday and there were 30 kids in the spelling bee. So I'm thinking, okay, there's 25 sets of parents here. There's this, you know, and I was thinking back through, I'm like, who do I think? Someone in there was a swinging couple. And it was weird to think about. Yeah.
Yeah.
School pickup is going to be very different for me from now on. Just putting the vibe.
Somebody opens their car door and there's a red light in there.
Yeah. I'm just going to be putting the vibe out. You know what I mean? Like, okay. No, but listen, so there are weird things. When I say weird, I don't mean I should find a better word there. Just things that I don't understand because it's not something that's in my nature and it's not something in my wife's nature or any of my married friends. I have single rich friends that either actively pursue it or wish they could actively pursue it. Right. Yeah. And maybe if I were a single rich guy, I would that might interest me also, you know, but for me, it's a completely different world. But knowing that it's in this small town of 400 people in the woods of Washington State, it's probably a little more widespread than I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's why they were going to Seattle and Portland, because they were with their people. And, you know, like, I tried to imagine myself in the position. It's funny because I knew you were going to give me a hard time about it. And I thought, how funny, how ironic of our society, where it's totally okay if I go into massive, gory, blood, gore, kill, death, and totally, you know, in that, you know, pretend like I'm the Night Stalker and deepen my voice and say those things. But here, when I'm trying to sexualize what's happening, oh, wait, you know, what are you doing? You're outside your lane. What are you doing?
No, first of all, I break your balls on the gore also. Okay.
This is true.
Okay, I do. And what I'm saying is that the society, American society, as opposed to like European or other societies, we've been so like clutching at our pearls when it comes to sexuality forever. There are still aspects that are deeply rooted in 1950s sensibilities.
I know.
Yeah.
And that just on the surface of it rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah. I agree.
I just, for that reason alone, I wanted to embrace it, because I'm like, you know what? This is what people are choosing to do. They're consenting adults. And I'm not going to sit here and make judgments. I mean, unfortunately, you know, for me, like what you said, as a student of human behavior, I mean, I saw this coming a million miles away. Yeah. I mean, how do you, it really depends on like what she said with the different marriages and what you want out of a marriage. But if you're anxiously attached, this is not good for you.
Yeah.
You know?
No, of course. But listen, just to circle back and just kind of put a pin in what we were just saying about kind of a 1950s mentality when it comes to sexuality, then at the same time, we're in a society where it's a cliche that sex sells. Okay. Advertisers know that, right? You have the covers of the swimsuit issue of Sports Illustrated. Okay. And that's incredibly, sexualized woman, obviously. Right. And then we're like, our Americans are like the largest consumers of porn, like in the world. Okay. So, right. And in these red states, right. No. And in these red states that are so Bible thumping down there, if, there are all of these hilarious studies that is also the largest consumer of online porn. Mm-hmm. Right. In these same communities that are supposedly, the Bible thumping, God fearing, be more like Jesus kind of society. So it's in my opinion, it's such a front with all this, anything having to do with sex or nudity or speaking about it. I find that really, really interesting on just kind of like a societal kind of level.
I do too.
But I just keep coming back to the filter of how would I respond? And I can't even put myself in these situations because it's not how my mind works. It's not how I'm built. Right. Mm-hmm. I'm not about multiple sexual partners, especially in my marriage. Right. It's just, maybe I'm traditional that way. I don't know. Call me folksy.
I don't think that I think that it's like the through line for me is, I always think, do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting other people. And you're, so it kind of, that's how I kind of the mindset that I see when I was putting this together, and just the idea of it, just watching, being in the world, like you don't have to do it to get it.
Right. No, of course.
You get what, you know, it's either the dressing up and going to that place and just like having fun. And it's like whatever they're doing, they're enjoying themselves. And this is what they're choosing to do, you know?
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's get back into the case here a little bit. First, I just want to get in front of, there was some of the audio was pretty lousy quality, but I think it was worth it. I think it was worth it because it just kind of shows access that you have, and we hear the actual guy's voice. So that was interesting to hear, even though the detective sounded like a gumshoe from the 50s, right? Didn't he?
I had literally over 2.5 hours of audio.
Oh, wow.
Interview. And the whole it was like, we've talked about how cops interview many times in the past. And it literally was like so weird because the detective kept talking the entire time. Like he wasn't waiting for him to really answer any of the questions. He was just like, it was those were the only cuts I could pull because it was literally him talking like, I know you want to do the right thing. I know, let me set this up. And it was just like, I really wish I could have heard the steps that went to have him get to where he was at, or at least deny. I mean, he denied it for a really long time until he took the plea. But it would have been great to kind of hear his mindset throughout that. But unfortunately, the detective was literally talking the entire time for 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well,
yeah, it was the weirdest interrogation I'd ever heard.
Yeah.
And I heard a lot of them.
Well, something jumped out that seemed like a throwback to me was bloodhounds. I didn't think that cops used bloodhounds anymore. I found that strange. And then, but I guess I was wrong about that. And then, that someone had the idea to have the dogs key in on the shoes, and that helped break the case. I found that was super cool. I wrote down forensics, yay. So yeah.
I love that detail. And I have to say, I just love hearing animals when their senses are so like just amazing. And what a smart, ingenious thing. Like, yeah, we know he went for a walk. Let's take his shoes, put them where the car was, and have them go. And then they found, I mean, then the divers are there. I mean, it just is incredible. And, you know, we've talked about for me, like sensing danger, you know, we talked about that last week about kind of what I tell my kids if they're in a dangerous situation. Yeah. One of the things that I do tell my kids, which seems off the wall, but like birds, I don't know if you've ever watched how birds, like if there's some disaster coming, the birds always kind of do really weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're just flying around or the animals start acting weird because they can sense things that we just can't see, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, when I was reading a biography on Einstein, I guess he was fascinated with birds, and he was standing on the bridge and he was watching these birds doing, you know, the swirling stuff that they do and everything like that. And the guy that he was with was like, why are you so fascinated with this? And he said, you know, the birds can see things that we can't. Yeah. And I think that that's true. You know, just animals have the ability to detect so much that we're not able to even see. And here's the case with the bloodhounds. It's amazing.
Do you think maybe Einstein meant just because the birds were up higher than they were at the time and they could just see more? I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
Not even going to respond.
Here's a question, serious question. Gen X.
What?
It seems to me that movies I grew up watching in the 80s, there were a lot more scenes of dudes on the run in the woods trying to trick bloodhounds that were chasing them. I can think of like 3 or 4 different movies that had scenes like that, and I haven't seen a scene like that in 20 years.
We'll be back after a quick break.
This episode is brought to you by the world's first reposado from Tequila Herradura. Made with slow-cooked, hand-harvested agave sealed into oak barrels and aged 11 months. Before being enjoyed in your glass. Experience the world's first reposado. Tequila Herradura. Please drink responsibly. Responsibility.org. Tequila Herradura. 40% alcohol by volume. Imported by Brown-Forman, Louisville, Kentucky. Herradura is a registered trademark. Copyright 2025 Brown-Forman Corporation.
It's Wednesday Addams. I see you're trying to distract yourself from your own banal thoughts. Let me help. Here's a recording thing made of my latest root canal.
Wednesday, Season 2 begins August 6th, only on Netflix.
Well, with bloodhounds for sure. It's like the same thing, like with the thing with the dog that has the thing on its neck, you know, like the whiskey thing.
What
is that?
Come on, the big dog from Switzerland.
Saint Bernard.
Saint Bernard. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that when you think about dogs tracking nowadays, it's like German Shepherds, I think, and just
the bloodhounds with that big snout with the extra. Yeah. So I love to make whenever animals make an appearance. I love it. That's great. Mm-hmm. And then I was hoping for a bigger payoff. I wanted the odometer to break the case. The way you set that up, I thought there was going to be like, and because of the 43 miles, and I went right to this spot. But
well, that was the hard part about this case, because he never said he wouldn't go there.
Yeah,
he wouldn't say. I mean, we have to assume that he's like, hey, let's go to the mountain and let's take a hike and let's talk about, how I was horrible to my wife, and you're going to be my, let me cry on your shoulder. So either, presumably that's what happened. And then he drove the car to that place and then couldn't bear walking home because whatever. So, but he never said exactly what he did. So, everything would have been fiction if I would have tried to create that tension.
Yeah, no, good for you.
We don't know.
Good for you. So he never admitted. He admitted to the killing. He took a plea.
He took
a
plea.
He never really gave the details of how or where or any of that stuff. Wow.
No. And I reached out to his wife, which was kind of crunchy, and was like, hey, because somebody reached out to me and told me about the case and was like, please, I would love it if you covered this. And I honestly, I was a little bit trepidatious about doing it because of the salacious nature of it. And I just handle it.
Oh, we got to be able to talk about stuff. I have a question.
Yeah.
So there was another detective in the room questioning the guy, a female.
The female. Yeah. I wish that she would have been able to talk, but the guy was talking the entire time.
Tell me, I got an impression on her that her questioning kind of became less about the case and more about her interest in the lifestyle. Did you get any of that?
I thought she was being judgy because she was like, and you're just watching your wife?
Yeah. No, see, I thought that was more like, so you're just watching your wife? Like,
I think she was, I think she was trying to get him going. I think she was trying to get him like to admit that he was jealous. And he was like, nope, it's totally fine. It's still, he was totally trying to play it cool. He was like, nope, not at all. Like I'm projecting.
Maybe I'm projecting onto her because I would have questions. Be like, so what's the big deal about it? Like, what do you get out of it? Because I still don't understand what the husband gets out of it. I
can't even tell you because I don't know. I can't even imagine my husband. Like, I can't imagine a world.
Say, go ahead, buddy. She's all yours. No, I can't. I can't imagine it.
Are my husband and I at the Howard Stern? Is that how you see
No,
it?
the Howard Johnsons. You're at the Howard Johnsons. Get me another kamikaze, God damn it.
Gosh. I can't help you out with it because that's just not a world that we live in either. I didn't want us to go back and forth where we're both like, I wouldn't do it and I wouldn't do it and I wouldn't do it.
Right.
I think that it's just like, it's okay that we don't get it, but other people do and they like it and they want
of course. Of course. Listen, I honestly I know the one friend. Okay, but that's different because he's not married. But we also have kind of in overlapping circles of our kind of social life, there's a couple that we know is a swinging couple. Mm-hmm. And like, for some,
this is getting closer and closer.
Some of like the bigger holiday parties. I'm like, hey, are they gonna be there? And my wife's like, oh, shut up. Yes, they're gonna be there, and don't even think about it. Like that. Like it's a joke.
Yeah,
because we know.
Was that your tell? Was
that my Seinfeld moment? I'm like, hey, maybe they're gonna ask us to go to a thing. Hey, I'm gonna put a little smell good on. No, that's not.
I don't know.
No. I would be terrified at the prospect of testing my sexual competency outside of my marriage. Terrified.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not, anyway, like I said, I tried to put myself in that position of knowing, like, what would the thrill be? I guess you feel like you're doing something really different than what everybody else is doing, and you're in the know, and you know, it's a secret, you know, it's
like that could be it. It could also be much more simpler and natural than that, where you just want, you know, more than one sexual partner. You know what I mean? I mean, that's kind of how we are growing up, right? Like with your episode on Amanda Knox. I thought she was really honest when she goes, I wanted to go explore my sexuality in Italy and go meet Italian men, right? Like when there's a certain age where, and there's a certain, you know, instinct of preservation of the species that is alive in men. Okay, where it's like spread your seed far and wide.
And she was crucified for that, and that's
100%.
That made me want to bring it on, because
absolutely
I cannot stand that double standard.
No way.
Yes, and it's like totally messed up. Like, why can't women talk about their sexuality or just be interested or ask questions?
Yeah, no, 100%. Listen, that goes to the, you know, one of the many hypocrisies alive and well in our culture. But what I'm saying is that there's probably a lot of people who engage in this kind of lifestyle, not for the thrill, just purely for the variety and the sexual pleasure, not in a base or any kind of negative, pejorative kind of way. Right. It doesn't have to be.
It's a physical thing. It's not emotional. It's physical.
Right. It's not deviant in any way. It's just, this is what we're into. And there was a time in everybody's life where they were probably wishing they could have several sexual partners, you know, until you find someone that you want to be married to. And listen, for those people who aren't married yet, or you find out that a healthy marriage has a lot more to do than just sex. Right. It's a partnership on many, many levels that takes a lot of work and a lot of, you know, a lot of compromise and a lot of sacrifice. And there's a lot of payoff to it. It's totally worth it. But some people, obviously, like these people in this show, kind of miss that other aspect of their lives when they were a little freer to have different sexual partners. Cool. Good for you. Unfortunately, it became too much for this guy.
Yeah, and like Dr. Pepper said, you know, this guy was
okay. Hold on, please stop. Her first name is Pepper, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I can't. Because you're making me want to go to the store and get a Dr. Pepper because I fucking love that soda.
Sorry, Dr. Shorts. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Short. I want to say Dr. Pepper.
I know, because it's a delicious drink. I know. I'm with you.
Dr. Schwartz.
Yeah.
You know, she basically said if it works for people, because if it didn't, more people would be going out there killing people. But it seems to work.
Exactly my point.
It's just, you have to know what kind of level of attachment.
Exactly.
Back to what she said, like what is your relationship, and honoring those attachments and being
because
on the same page.
We aren't seeing a rash of crimes of passion in these swinger clubs, right? We're not seeing murder, right? So you're 100% right. It works. It works for these people. Great. That's what I'm going to tell my wife. No, I'm kidding. See, that was a joke. It was a joke. So what I found really, really interesting towards the end of this was that she got pregnant.
I just thought that was so sad.
Yes, it's sad on that level, but on a different level, it kind of crystallizes that their love was genuine, that they actually fell in love.
And now it's gone. I mean, she has to look at
her child.
Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
But I mean, to go through the health risks, if she was being honest about the health risks.
She was.
Okay.
She was. I mean,
to be able to go through, to be willing to go through the health risks, to want to have a child with this man that she was obviously in love with, that wasn't her husband. Okay. And it just goes back to, heart wants what it wants. Oh, well.
Can you even imagine that? Like, I know we've talked about, we can't imagine it, but I know as writers, we can imagine it. we can imagine what that guy was doing when he was watching his
wife fall in love with another guy.
Right.
You like watched it happen.
And I can imagine that. And it's just so awful. Wouldn't that be awful? I mean, the closest I've had with that is like a triangle with friends, like in 6th grade or 7th grade, when your best friend, she found another friend, and I just was so jealous. And it was like, I wanted my best friend. And that's like what I was thinking about that. Like, so just that feeling.
That happened to me with a girl in high school.
When?
Like sophomore year, junior year. A girl out of town. Don't make fun of me. She was in town to visit me. Because, we were kind of like, hey, you want to come visit me? I'm like, yeah, okay. And I was like really proud and showing her off to my friends. Right. And I was showing her off to my friends, and she wound up like falling for like a friend of mine. And it was a really, really awkward, like second half of the visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you stick around?
Where did I stay? Where was I going to go? She was staying at my house.
Oh no!
Okay, right. What was I going to do?
Oh my God!
Yeah. It was weird.
You know what? High school is freaking brutal.
Brutal.
Oh my gosh!
Fucking brutal.
And what happened with that friend?
We're still friends. It happened.
Is he the swinger?
No. This is all back in Jersey. That kind of those friendships are forged in fire. I mean, it'll take more than a cute blonde from Ohio to come between us. But
oh my gosh, that's brutal. That is pretty brutal. Right. So imagine how this guy felt if you're still talking about it 30 years later.
No kidding, right?
Imagine how that felt.
I know. Wow. So, and now I want to end with my favorite part of the episode, which goes back to still Gil is a close second, but my favorite character that you've presented in any of your podcasts. And now I'm blanking on her name, but it was from What Happened to the Dermans, that wonderful
Mac, Cheryl McCullum.
Mac. The Jailhouse Confession.
I know, right?
This guy. She loved her Jailhouse Confession.
I know that it's unexplainable. Like, why?
Yep.
I mean, he knew once that happened, there was no chance.
That was it.
He had, 70 people willing to come forward and spill their guts about I mean, can you even imagine how salacious that trial would have been?
Hold on. Can you, right? Imagine if he had 70 witnesses, all from the same sex club, right?
Oh, yeah.
Would they be able to, would like connections be happening? Like when they're right?
I think it would have been just a circus, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it just would have been like all their dirty laundry was just like hanging out.
That'd be really, that's a funny scene to picture, all of the witnesses there, like in the galley, right? In the gallery, like kind of waiting to go up, and they're just kind of going, hey, how you doing? Hey, come on. Maybe you've met my wife. No, huh? All right.
Oh my
God. Hold on, I got to go testify against this guy. I'll be right back.
Yeah, right. I know. It's like I felt like a voyeur just watching their chat, listening to their chats.
Listening to Dr. Pepper, I felt like I was in therapy. Like I really did. I felt like I was like learning stuff about myself, feeling better about my marriage, knowing what kind of attachment I have, what attachment I could happen if, that's why we're not this type of lifestyle. It was interesting.
But see, that's what's great, Branden, is that you know yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it. The thrill of it wouldn't be worth it. And I think that, had this guy realized, like, hey, if he would have been self-aware enough to say, listen, we need to stop right away, but it was too late. It was too late.
And the thing is like, how long had they been at it? And it had been fine.
Like 2 or 3 years. Like 3
right.
years.
So there'd been probably dozens of partners. Okay. And there was never that spark that he witnessed. Like it was always cool. They would always get what they wanted.
It
no
was
one was
always
getting hurt.
physical. It was always physical.
Always just physical.
I think that the chats too, like you can chat with someone and really become close to them, even though you're not.
Sure.
I mean, we've seen it happen time and time again, right?
Yeah.
And you have that connection, even though you're not, that physical night consummated the connection. They probably
the emotional connection, which
right.
So you have all of that anticipation coming up, and there are probably pictures that were shared and all of that, to really get the fire going. I'm serious.
Imagining those pictures that were shared.
I'm just saying.
You brought pictures.
That's what I would do. That's what I would do, right? If I'm like, hey, I'm going to throw my hat into the swinging ring, I'd have some high quality nudes taken.
I know. And you know what? It sounds like you and I have been married around the same time.
Yeah.
In terms of like longevity. So we kind of weren't a part of Tinder or
15 years. Married 15, but my wife and I are together for 22.
Right.
So I was way before any kind of internet dating or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And me too. So, it's hard to even imagine this world that we're in right now. But I do think that, what? People are figuring it out all the time.
Man, I tell my wife all the time, you better watch it. I would kill it on Tinder. Oh, man.
Why do you think you would kill it?
I don't know. What? I don't. I'm just using it as an idle threat. Try to get my wife to be nicer to me. It doesn't work. She knows I'm full of shit.
Your game really hasn't improved much over the last 20 years.
Oh God, no game. No game at all. No game at all.
I'm glad that you got something out of Dr. Schwartz, because I did too. And I think that, the goal is not judgment, but understanding. And I think that the cut at the end where she's like 50 Shades of Grey, people wanted to say what horrible writing it was, but it was like more popular than anything.
Than the Bible. Yeah. And I liked, she had a very interesting and inviting conversational style. She wasn't very clinical where like you got bored or, she's like, and there was no judgment, no embarrassment, no apologies in what she was saying, because it's important to be able to, to verbalize our sexuality.
Well, and back in the day, Dr. Ruth,
Dr. Ruth Westheimer,
like that. Like we forget how crazy that was, what she was doing. It started off with a radio show where she just went in and started talking about it. And people were so enraptured by it because they weren't threatened because she was a doctor and she had a presence. And it's like, people were just like, they questions that they wanted, forever to know about and were just too afraid to ask or whatever. And there is a power in that. And I think that, people want information.
Yep. Agreed. All right. Well, gosh, if anybody was offended by how much we're laughing about this silly sex stuff when a man lost his life, that's just kind of par for the course with me, because I'm kind of
how are you gonna
not really a grown-up when it comes to stuff like this. I go for the low-hanging fruit with jokes sometimes, but it has not escaped my attention that a man was brutally murdered in cold blood for no reason other than jealousy, and the guy made his own bed and then decided he didn't want to sleep in it, quite literally. And
that's so true.
Yeah.
Well done.
And so the guy got what was coming to him. He's probably still in jail. Is he still alive, that
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it didn't happen in 2008.
2008. Well, listen, that's 15. So he's got 10 years to go. Good behavior. He might be, he might get out. Yeah. Wow. So the trial was in 08, like he was sentenced in 08?
No, I think it was like in 2011, because it was like he literally waited until the trial was about ready to happen.
So no time served. Probably didn't get time served. So the clock started.
I think the clock started with, because I don't think he got on he didn't get out.
When he was arrested.
The clock started in 2000. I think he was arrested in 2009, and then the trial was going to take place in 2011.
And he copped right before trial.
He pulled the ripcord.
Yep. Wow. All right. Well, nice job. That was a departure. I don't want to say it was fun, but it was not as heavy as some of your more recent episodes, and very educational with Dr. Schwartz. So I thought she was a really good find. You should find more sex stories to talk to her about.
To help you.
No, for the content, just for content.
So I can help you evolve a little bit.
Yeah, for content. It's good for the show. It's good for the show. So what do we got next?
So next week we'll go down a rabbit hole with a palm reader who bilks this woman out for over $1 million, and yet she's the lucky one because she got away with her life.
Wow. All right, get ready for me to go postal on palm reading. Okay, just get ready. Okay.
You know that people, like young people, probably wouldn't even know what postal is, what that means.
I know. Jesus.
Right?
I don't even know what the modern equivalent of that is. Huh.
But
and
I mean,
unfortunately,
like back in the day when male people were
one mass shooting in a post office. Remember when that was like, and now there's mass shootings seemingly.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what brought it to my mind, because I hadn't heard postal in like forever, and I'm like, did anybody even know what that meant?
Yeah.
But it seemed like there was more than just one. It felt like they were so angry.
There were a couple, like during like Publishers Clearinghouse Week, when there's just like 10 times the amount of mail in a week. People, I'm gonna kill everybody. Well, looking forward to that definitely for next week. Thank you for this episode. I very much enjoyed it. It was illuminating, to say the least, and fun discussing with you. So everybody, thank you very much for catching up with us here this week. Please consider supporting the companies that support our show. They make it possible for us to do what we do. So Carolyn, thank you again.
Thank you, Branden. Thank you for all the work that you do.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It is really my pleasure. So for now, that's it. Murder Chronicles Nation, thank you again. And we hope you catch up with us next week. Take care.